Chosen one, the very thing you did today. Yes, that small, obedient act your mind tried to dismiss has already torn open a passage in the heavens. And listen closely. God is not waiting anymore. Something accelerated the moment you moved. Something shifted the moment you chose faith over fear. You felt it, didn't you? That strange pressure in your chest, that sudden quiet in your spirit, that whisper telling you something just changed. You're not imagining it. Heaven responded faster than you expected, faster than you prayed for, faster than you thought you deserved. A rapid blessing has already been released, and right now the atmosphere around your life is vibrating with divine movement. This isn't symbolism, this is timing, wholly appointed, irreversible timing. Look closely at your day. There was a moment, small, fleeting, where you resisted an old pattern. You said no where you used to say yes. You chose peace instead of panic. You took one step toward your divine purpose instead of waiting for clarity to magically appear. And that single step struck the ground like a hammer in the spirit. It signaled to heaven. They're ready. And when heaven hears readiness, it answers with acceleration. Chosen one, this is why the air around you feels different tonight. This is why you keep sensing something approaching, because your act of obedience today unlocked a breakthrough season you were not supposed to enter until later. But God said, I won't wait any longer. Your destiny alignment has begun. Your abundance has been triggered. Your emotional healing has been fast-tracked. You have no idea how close you are to a jackpot surprise. So close that the blessing has already started traveling toward you. Psalm 23:5 whispers through this moment, your cup is about to overflow. Not someday, not eventually, now. And before we go deeper, because what comes next will explain the shift you've been feeling, pause for a heartbeat. Breathe. Listen with the part of you heaven speaks to first. Chosen one, listen. The moment you moved in faith today, something ancient and powerful shifted around your life, and heaven has been rushing to respond ever since. What you felt brushing past your spirit earlier wasn't imagination. It was confirmation. A door you thought was sealed finally cracked open, and the blessing that had been pacing behind it, waiting, watching, holding its breath, was released with force. You've been living under a weight you couldn't name, carrying responsibilities, secrets, and silent questions no one ever saw. Yet even in that heaviness, you made a tiny decision today that carried the weight of 1,000 prayers. You chose alignment over delay, purpose over fear, obedience over the familiar. And that choice hit the heavens like a lightning strike. This is why your heart fluttered out of nowhere. This is why your peace felt deeper than usual. This is why the atmosphere in your home shifted without warning. Something was activated. Something was approved. Something was stamped with the seal of now. God said, I cannot wait any longer. The blessing must move. Chosen one, you just stepped into a breakthrough season that was supposed to take months to reach you. But heaven accelerated the timetable. The angels around your life, yes, the ones who have been guarding you through every sleepless night, were dispatched with new orders the moment your spirit said yes. And they did not walk. They ran. Because you didn't just trigger a blessing, you triggered a rapid one. A blessing that overtakes, a blessing that multiplies, a blessing that arrives before your doubt has time to talk you out of it. Look deeper into your day. Think about the quiet moment when something nudged you to stop, or to start, or to release what no longer fits. That was the hinge, the spiritual turning point. And heaven responded instantly. Jeremiah 29:11 hangs over you like fresh oil now. For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you. Not later, not eventually. Now, and listen to me, Because this is crucial. Right now, something is being rearranged on your behalf, behind the curtain of the unseen. Something financial is shifting. Something emotional is healing. Something tied to your destiny alignment is breaking free from old restraints. Does that resonate with you? You've been sensing change without language for it. This is why. Before we move deeper into what God is releasing, before we talk about the jackpot surprise forming in your atmosphere, I need to pause for one sacred reason. If this word is stirring something alive in you, if your spirit is leaning toward it with a quiet, "I know this is for me," then don't walk this journey alone. Whatever heaven is releasing in your life right now requires you to stay connected to prophetic clarity. So subscribe now, not for me, but because this is one of the ways heaven keeps your spirit aligned for what's coming next. Now listen, because what happened today was only the opening ripple of a much bigger move. And the next part of this message will reveal the real reason your blessing had to be accelerated so suddenly. Chosen one, the reason heaven moved so quickly for you today is because your spirit finally crossed a threshold you didn't even know you were approaching. There's a line in the unseen, a sacred border between almost and appointed. And today, without fanfare, without ritual, without even realizing it, you stepped over it. That one decision you made, that pause before reacting, that moment you chose peace instead of panic, it signaled to heaven that you were ready for more. Ready for elevation. Ready for personal transformation. Ready for abundance that doesn't leak through the cracks of old wounds. And that readiness echoed through spiritual realms like a trumpet. Something ancient responded. Something holy recognized your maturity. Something in the divine timing of your destiny clicked into place. Listen closely. You didn't earn a blessing today. You activated one. There's a difference. Earning is effort. Activation is alignment. And alignment is what pulls rapid blessings out of the invisible and into your reality before your circumstances even have time to adjust. You felt it in your body, didn't you? That sudden lightness, that strange shift in your atmosphere, that moment where time felt like it paused around you. That wasn't imagination. That was divine acceleration beginning to wrap itself around your life. Look at your recent days. They've been heavy, unpredictable, full of spiritual warfare you couldn't explain. Nights where sleep escaped you, mornings where your soul felt tired even though your body rested. You chalked it up to stress, but heaven called it preparation. Because breakthrough seasons often hide themselves inside pressure, and the enemy always fights hardest right before a chosen one steps into a higher dimension of purpose. But today, you did something that broke the last delay. Heaven said, "That's it. Move the blessing now." And listen, there's more. That jackpot surprise hovering over your life isn't random. It's strategic. It's tied to every prayer you whispered through tears, every sacrifice you made when no one was watching, every moment you stayed obedient even when it cost you your comfort. God is releasing something that doesn't match your current situation. It matches your destiny. And before you doubt that, look inward. Look at how your spirit has been stretching. That restless feeling, that holy discomfort, that sense that you're outgrowing environments that used to feel like home. All of it was heaven's way of telling you, a new level requires a new you. And today, you stepped into that new identity without even realizing how powerful the moment was. But here's the truth you must hear with clarity. Rapid blessings don't come for people who stay still. They come for people who shift. And you shifted. The wealth mindset you've been fighting to build, it's being strengthened. The emotional healing you've been needing, it's already unfolding inside you. The generational wealth your bloodline never saw, its foundation is being poured right now. Chosen one, do you feel that? That heat rising in your chest, that quiet electricity threading through your thoughts? That's destiny alignment. That's your spirit recognizing a divine truth your mind is still catching up to. And before we go deeper, because we still haven't uncovered why this blessing had to come in a rush, let me pull you into a moment of honesty. You've been wondering why certain people grew distant, why certain opportunities suddenly fell through, why certain doors that once seemed open slammed shut without warning. You blamed yourself. You questioned your worth. You thought something was wrong with you, but listen to me with the full weight of your spirit. God wasn't punishing you. He was protecting you. If those doors had stayed open, they would have drained your blessing before it reached your hands. If those people had remained in your circle, they would have contaminated the miracle meant for your next season. If those opportunities had gone through, they would have buried you under obligations not aligned with your divine purpose. Sometimes, heaven delays what you desire to deliver what you're destined for. And today, heaven decided the waiting season ends. But we're not done. Not even close. Because the rapid blessing that was released today, this thing that's racing toward you with supernatural speed, comes with a reason, a pattern, and a prophecy you must understand if you want to carry it well. Do you feel your spirit leaning in? Good. Because what I'm about to reveal next is the part your soul has been waiting for without words. Chosen one, the reason the blessing had to accelerate is because something in your spirit finally outgrew the old cycle, and the old cycle felt it break. You may not realize this yet, but today you didn't just make a choice. You triggered a collapse, a dismantling, a spiritual demolition of every structure that once delayed you. When you acted in faith, quietly, humbly, almost casually, you sent a signal hell could not ignore and heaven could not resist. That's why the atmosphere around you has felt unstable. That's why your emotions have been shifting like tides. That's why certain memories resurfaced today out of nowhere. It wasn't random. It was residue lifting from your spirit, old chains cracking, old agreements dissolving, old fears losing their grip because your soul stepped into a higher frequency than they could follow. You've been asking God for a sign, but today you became the sign. Listen. The rapid blessing moving toward you now isn't just something external. Money, opportunity, connection, elevation. The first wave is internal. The shift inside you is the blueprint of everything God is about to place in your hands. You can't build generational wealth with a fearful heart. You can't walk into abundance with an unhealed mind. You can't step into divine purpose carrying wounds that distort your vision. So heaven started the renovation within. That unusual calm that dropped on you earlier, that sudden clarity that came out of nowhere, that feeling that something just clicked. Those weren't emotions, they were confirmations. You've entered the breakthrough season you used to dream about. Not because everything is perfect, but because you finally aligned with who you're becoming instead of who you were forced to be. But look closer at your day. There was a moment, so simple, so ordinary, that carried extraordinary weight. A moment where the old version of you tried to rise, but you silenced it. A moment where fear whispered, but you answered with faith. A moment where you chose truth over comfort. Those moments are rare, and heaven responds to them with speed. This is why the blessing couldn't wait. This is why God said, "Move it now." Even now, angels are repositioning things around your timeline. Delays are being dislodged. Destiny doors are unlocking. Someone who held up your progress, knowingly or unknowingly, is being shifted out of the way. The spiritual traffic that clogged your path is being cleared. You're stepping into a level of elevation that was always meant for you but required today's obedience to activate. Listen carefully, because this next truth is heavy. Some blessings only show up after identity shifts, and today, heaven witnessed your identity change. You broke a pattern that ran through your family line. You stopped a cycle that generations before you couldn't. You made a decision that rewrote something in the spirit. That's why the blessing will come fast. That's why the abundance will flow differently. That's why the alignment will feel supernatural. But there's more, so much more, because rapid blessings don't travel alone. They come with signs, they come with provision, they come with divine orchestration that disrupts your ordinary life. Patterns will shift, people will react, opportunities will appear where there was once silence. You will see coincidences that aren't coincidences. You will dream dreams that aren't dreams. You will feel pulls that aren't random. Because heaven is rearranging your steps according to Psalm 37:23. The steps of a good person are ordered by the Lord. And today, the ordering began. Chosen one. You're being guided into a space where your purpose will breathe again, where your creativity will resurrect, where your finances will stabilize, where your spirit will stand taller than ever. Can you feel that? That stirring inside you isn't anxiety, it's awakening. And before we move deeper, before I reveal the hidden reason God accelerated this blessing, pause and tell me. Chosen one, something in the spirit realm reacted the moment you made that quiet decision today. You think it was small, but heaven saw it as a declaration, a line drawn in the sand, a spiritual turning point that signaled, they're ready. Accelerate everything. And from that moment forward, a chain reaction began. Swift, precise, unstoppable. Listen closely. You didn't just shift your behavior, you shifted your atmosphere. There was a heaviness sitting on your life for months, maybe years, pressing against your purpose like an unseen weight. It wasn't just stress. It wasn't just exhaustion. It was a spiritual congestion, a buildup of emotional residue, broken expectations, silent disappointments, and cycles you thought you'd never escape. But today, something cracked. Something old lost its hold. Something ancient broke off your shoulders without you needing to pray for hours or wage war in your mind. Because sometimes the greatest spiritual battles are won through the smallest acts of obedience. Heaven doesn't measure size. Heaven measures sincerity. And your sincerity today sent ripples across realms. That's why your mind has been strangely clear. That's why your spirit feels unusually alert. That's why your intuition is louder than usual, almost as if someone turned up the volume inside you. Chosen one, you stepped out of an old identity this morning, and destiny met you at the door. But here's what you must understand. Whenever a chosen one breaks a cycle, heaven releases not one blessing, but a sequence, a cascade, a rapid unfolding of provision and alignment and unexpected opportunities that carry the fingerprints of God Himself. This is why things might start happening suddenly. Emails, calls, offers, ideas, insights, all arriving faster than you can fully process. Heaven is redeeming the time you lost, and divine justice always moves quickly when delay has overstayed its assignment. Look at your life carefully. There were areas where everything felt stuck, frozen, unmovable. You prayed, you waited, you hoped, and nothing shifted until today. Because today, your spirit rose, and the moment your spirit rises, your circumstances must follow. You've been in a season where doors looked locked, but they weren't locked. They were waiting for you to match the frequency of who you were always meant to become. And when you aligned today, heaven responded instantly with acceleration. Not symbolic acceleration, but literal, measurable movement. Let me make this plain. Something tied to your destiny, money, connection, clarity, opportunity, is already in motion toward you. It was triggered, it was released, it is traveling quickly. And if you listen quietly, you can feel the timing of it. It feels like a hum, a pull, a knowing that something is finally giving way. But here's the deeper truth, one most people never hear. Rapid blessings only come to those who have outgrown the environment that once sustained them. And you, chosen one, have outgrown a chapter without realizing you are already standing at its exit. You've been trying to make peace with situations that can't hold your next level. You've been trying to fit into rooms that became too small for your evolution. You've been trying to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand your calling. And heaven has been waiting patiently for you to take one step, just one, away from that weight. You took it today, and heaven said, "Release everything, accelerate everything, deliver everything." This is why you've been getting flashes of inspiration. This is why your desire for more has intensified. This is why you feel a rising confidence you can't explain. Your spirit is preparing for increase. Your mind is preparing for abundance. Your path is preparing for elevation. And before we go deeper, because there is a hidden reason for this sudden acceleration, a prophetic reason why God couldn't wait any longer, I need to ask you, chosen one, the heavens accelerated your blessing today because something that was hiding beneath the surface of your life finally lost its power over you. And listen carefully. This is the part most people never recognize, the part that separates those who rise from those who repeat. Before God releases rapid blessings, He first destabilizes the structures that kept you repeating old cycles. That's what you've been feeling, that strange tension, that emotional wobble, that sudden awareness of what no longer fits. It wasn't confusion, it was spiritual eviction. Something that once sat comfortably in your life, an old belief, an old fear, an old pattern, was forced out today, and when it left, heaven filled the vacancy immediately. That opening in your spirit became a landing place for the blessing God refused to delay any longer. Look at your day through prophetic eyes. There was a moment, maybe just a breath, where you hesitated before reacting the way you used to. A moment where your inner voice whispered, "Not this time." And instead of giving in to frustration or worry or self-sabotage, you chose differently. That choice created a rupture in the unseen. And wherever there is rupture, there is release. Heaven said, "Finally, they've broken the cycle. Now activate the blessing." This is why you felt waves of emotion rise and fall today. It's why your thoughts felt sharper, your intuition louder. When your spiritual alignment shifts, your emotional landscape reacts. When your identity upgrades, your internal world reorganizes itself to match who you are becoming. Chosen one, you're not unstable, you are ascending. And ascent always feels unfamiliar at first. But here is the truth that's rising to meet you. The rapid blessing released today isn't coming from one direction, it's converging from many. Because you didn't just shift one area of your life, you shifted the core of your spiritual posture. And when the core shifts, everything orbiting it must follow. Listen closely. There is a financial shift approaching you, not imagined. Real, tangible, divine. Something that was withheld is being released. Something that was blocked is being rerouted. Something that should have come months ago is now being expedited because your spirit can finally carry it without losing yourself in the process. And that's not all. A relational shift is happening too. Someone who was draining your spirit, emotionally, mentally, energetically, is being moved out of your inner circle. Not by force, by divine redirection, by quiet distance, by heaven removing access from those who mishandled your heart. And there's more still. A creative or purpose-driven shift is awakening inside you. Ideas returning, motivation stirring, clarity settling into the places where fog lived for too long. This is destiny alignment unfolding in real time. But let me tell you the deeper mystery, the one hidden beneath everything that is stirring. God accelerated your blessing today because a window opened, a rare spiritual window that doesn't stay open long. Timing matters in the spirit. Seasons matter. Kairos moments matter. And today, a divine window aligned with your obedience, your pain, your preparation, and your unspoken prayers. Heaven looked at your heart and said, "They're ready. Release it all." That's why your spirit keeps leaning forward. That's why your chest feels warm. That's why something in you knows you're stepping into a chapter your past cannot follow. And I'm not stopping here, because the revelation only grows deeper from this point forward. Chosen one, when heaven accelerates a blessing, it always reveals a hidden truth next. A truth about why the warfare was so intense, why the delays were so long, why you were stretched beyond what you thought you could survive, and why the jackpot blessing hovering over your life had to come. Now and not later. Chosen one, the reason the heavens rushed today is because something you couldn't see finally reached its expiration point. There are spiritual contracts, cycles, patterns, limitations that operate quietly in the background of a life. They don't announce themselves. They don't show up with thunder. They simply sit in the shadows, shaping how you think, how you hope, how you rise, how you fall. And today, one of those contracts broke. Not because someone prayed over you, not because a miracle dropped out of the sky, but because you outgrew the version of yourself that agreed to that limitation in the first place. Spiritual agreements only hold power when your identity stays small enough to fit inside them, but the moment you stepped into a new posture today, when you acted from faith instead of fear, when you protected your peace instead of negotiating with chaos, you rose higher than the contract that once held you. It couldn't contain you anymore. It snapped. And when something snaps in the unseen, blessings rush in to fill the vacuum. Think of your life like a sealed room. For years, the windows were foggy, the air heavy, the space tight. Not because you were weak, but because your spirit was expanding in a room that never grew with you. And then, today, when you made that quiet, sacred decision, the window cracked open on its own. Light poured in, fresh air rushed through. Heaven said, "Finally, they've opened the gateway." That's why your mind feels clearer. That's why your chest feels lighter. That's why your spirit feels awake. You shifted the spiritual climate around you without knowing it. And listen, this is where the mystery becomes revelation. The blessing God released today was already written with your name on it long before you were born. It wasn't delayed because heaven forgot you. It was delayed because heaven protects you. A blessing released too early becomes a burden. A blessing placed in the wrong season becomes temptation. A blessing handed to an unhealed heart becomes sabotage. But today, your spirit signaled readiness. And because you signaled readiness, heaven launched acceleration. Chosen one, you are stepping into a moment where your life can change faster than your mind can process. Sudden elevation, sudden opportunity, sudden clarity, sudden open doors, sudden release of resources, not random, not accidental, not coincidence, but divine timing colliding with your spiritual maturity. And now, something deeper is happening. Look around your recent days. You may notice the following signs. People who drained your energy are slowly disappearing. Old temptations feel dull, almost powerless. Conversations that once triggered you now fall flat. Ideas you abandoned months ago are resurfacing with force. Numbers like 78, 777, or 1111 keep showing up around you. You feel a pull toward change with no logical explanation. These are not quirks. These are not random patterns. These are divine indicators of destiny, alignment, in motion. You're stepping into a frequency where heaven can finally pour without interference. And I must tell you something that may shake you a little. The reason God accelerated your blessing is because someone or something was trying to intercept it. A force, a distraction, a voice, a cycle, a habit, an influence that would have blocked what was meant for you if heaven waited any longer. So God didn't wait. God moved. God rushed. God intervened. He said, "Release it now before the enemy can reposition." That's how serious this blessing is. That's how urgent your purpose is. That's how close you are to a breakthrough that will redefine your entire trajectory. But there's a layer even deeper than this. A truth buried beneath the acceleration. A revelation about why your blessing is not just rapid, but multiplied. Chosen one, the reason your blessing had to come in a rush is because heaven saw something approaching your life that you didn't. A collision point, a spiritual crossroads. A moment where if God didn't accelerate you forward, something meant for your past would have tried to pull you backward. And because you made that small, faithful choice today, heaven stepped between you and everything that once tried to claim you. That single act of obedience didn't just shift your energy, it rewired your timeline. You may not feel it fully yet, but something behind you snapped, and something ahead of you opened at the same time. This is why your emotions have been fluctuating. 1 minute you feel calm, the next a strange anticipation rises, then a wave of clarity, then a breath of relief out of nowhere. These are not random. These are aftershocks, the spiritual vibrations that occur when your destiny breaks free from an old gravitational pull. And listen closely, because now we are entering the deepest layer of this revelation. When God releases a rapid blessing, it is never simply to reward you. It is to reposition you. Reposition you away from people who cannot go where you're going. Reposition you away from cycles disguised as comfort. Reposition you away from versions of yourself that your destiny has outgrown. There has been a tug of war in your spirit for months. One part of you clinging to what feels familiar, while another part keeps reaching for the future that keeps whispering your name. That tension was the spiritual evidence of transformation, and today you finally leaned toward the future instead of the familiar. You broke the tie, and heaven moved instantly. But here's where the mystery deepens. The blessing that was triggered today is not coming alone. It is carrying something with it, something few chosen ones ever realize until it arrives. It's carrying compensation. Not just breakthrough, but back pay. Not just opportunity, but recovery. Not just provision, but restoration of what was stolen, delayed, or quietly stripped from your spirit over the years. This is why the blessing is coming rapidly. Because it's not only bringing what belongs to your present, it's bringing what belonged to your past. The years you lost in confusion, the relationships you invested in that drained you, the time you spent healing from wounds you didn't cause, the dreams you set aside to survive seasons you didn't choose. Heaven recorded every one of those moments, and today the repayment began. This is why God couldn't wait. This is why the blessing couldn't delay, because the window for divine compensation opened, and heaven refused to let you miss it. But here's the part that will shake your spirit awake. Your blessing had to be accelerated because your name is being positioned for visibility. Do you feel that? That rising sense that people who once overlooked you are about to see you differently? That subtle knowing that influence, favor, or opportunity is drawing near? That feeling that you're stepping into a season where you can no longer hide your gift, your calling, your voice? Chosen one. This is destiny alignment happening in real time. Your spirit is stepping into the center of a story that God began writing before your birth. And the reason you feel a pull, a pressure, a holy anticipation is because heaven is enlarging the space around your life to fit the version of you that is emerging. But let me go even deeper. There is still a hidden truth beneath this acceleration. A truth tied to your assignment, your calling, and the jackpot blessing that's forming at the edge of your timeline. A truth that explains why the warfare increased, why the delays stretched so long, and why, today, of all days, heaven said, "Go, release it now." Chosen one, The real reason your blessing had to be accelerated is because heaven saw a pressure building around your life that you couldn't see yet. A spiritual convergence, a tightening of timelines, a moment where the enemy's last attempt to delay you and God's ordained moment for release intersected. And God refused to let the enemy reach you first. That's why the shift today felt sudden, why your emotions felt tender, why your thoughts felt sharper, why the air around you felt charged. When a chosen one reaches a point of destiny maturity, the spiritual realm moves fast, sometimes violently fast, to secure what belongs to them. And today, you cross that point. Listen, there has been something orbiting your life for a long time. A blessing meant to land in your hands much earlier, but something kept blocking the trajectory. Fear, old wounds, unfinished healing, wrong connections, divine timing, spiritual warfare. You weren't ready, and heaven refused to let a blessing arrive in a place where you couldn't fully hold it. But today, the readiness in your spirit announced itself. Not with words, not with prayer, but with alignment. You made one choice, one adjustment, one surrender that told heaven, "Now I can carry what you've been trying to give me." And instantly, the blessing you were supposed to receive months or even years ago snapped out of delay and shot forward like an arrow released from a bow. Chosen one, God isn't just giving you what belongs to this season. He's collapsing seasons, merging blessings, compressing years of waiting into moments of manifestation. This is what rapid blessing means in the Spirit. Time bends for you. And when time bends, everything accelerates. The opportunity that felt distant starts moving toward you. The financial shift you prayed for begins aligning faster than expected. The emotional healing you've been fighting for unlocks in waves. The clarity that once hid from you appears with razor sharpness. But let me reveal the hidden layer. The part heaven has been waiting for the right moment to whisper into your spirit. Your blessing wasn't accelerated just to bless you. It was accelerated to protect your assignment. Someone attached to your calling needs you elevated now. Someone you've not met yet requires the version of you that is emerging. Someone's breakthrough, healing, or awakening is linked to your obedience today. That's why God couldn't wait. That's why heaven moved fast. That's why the blessing barreled toward you with force. Your destiny is interwoven with people you haven't reached yet, and heaven cannot afford your delay. Feel this truth settle into you. You are not being blessed for comfort. You are being positioned for purpose. But here is where the revelation deepens past anything we've touched so far. The jackpot blessing, the one hovering so close that your spirit can feel its electricity, is not just provision. It is permission. Permission to rise, permission to expand, permission to step into rooms where your old self would have been silent, permission to outgrow people who were never meant for your next level, permission to claim what your fear once rejected. You have been waiting for God to open the door, but today, heaven announced, the door is already open. Now walk. Yet there is another truth, a more mysterious one. A reason deeper than preparation, deeper than timing, deeper even than purpose. Your blessing had to arrive quickly because something in the unseen world recognized your awakening before you did. The enemy saw your shift. The light inside you flared, your spirit expanded, and darkness panicked. Opposition was gathering, interference was forming. A subtle setback was being crafted. Heaven saw it. Heaven intercepted it. Heaven said, "Accelerate the blessing now." What's coming to you is not ordinary. It's not small. It's not symbolic. It is a life-altering, identity-shifting, destiny-activating release that carries the weight of every prayer you thought God ignored. And we still haven't reached the deepest part, the revelation about why this blessing is not just rapid, but multiplied. and what God is about to reveal about your next chapter. Chosen one, now that heaven has accelerated what belongs to you, this is the moment where alignment must become action. A rapid blessing is powerful, but if your habits, posture, and atmosphere don't expand with it, you risk outgrowing yourself before you ever outgrow your circumstances. Listen closely. What God released today wasn't just breakthrough, it was responsibility. And if you want that blessing to settle, to multiply, to stay, there are things you must begin doing now, not later, not when life feels calmer, not when fear stops whispering. This is the hour where your daily rhythm must start matching your destiny. Let's begin with the first truth. Your environment must change before your elevation arrives in full. That uneasiness you've been feeling in certain rooms, with certain people, or in certain conversations, that's not mood, that's discernment. A rapid blessing cannot enter a place that still carries the echo of who you used to be. So look around your life with holy clarity. Who drains your focus? What spaces dim your spirit? What patterns tempt you into shrinking again? You don't need confrontation. You need correction, quiet separation, gentle distance. Your soul already knows where the leaks are. And this brings us into the first spiritual practice heaven is asking of you. Protect your atmosphere. Wake up tomorrow and give God the first moment. Not your phone, not the noise, not the leftover weight of yesterday. Whisper one sentence. Lord, align my spirit with what you released. That's simple. Agreement sets your frequency for the entire day. It tells heaven, I'm awake, I'm aware, I'm receptive. Then move into silence, just 2 or 3 minutes. Don't force a prayer, don't rehearse your problems. Listen, because when rapid blessings are active, heaven speaks softly. Instruction will come as a nudge, a picture, a sudden thought, a shift in your breathing. The stillness is part of the strategy. Now listen carefully. Because this next part is a divine key. You must begin decluttering the spaces where the blessing is supposed to land. Physical space, mental space, emotional space, spiritual space. If you want financial stability, clean the corner of your home where you keep bills or plans. If you want clarity, remove clutter from your workspace. If you want abundance, remove what symbolizes lack. Heaven responds to preparation. When you prepare a room, the blessing interprets it as invitation. And before you think this is too simple, consider this. Every major miracle in Scripture required preparation. The widow gathered jars. Israel packed unleavened bread. The disciples prepared the upper room. Preparation is prophecy in action. Now let's talk about your emotional body, because a rapid blessing will stretch it. The shift that happened today awakened old memories, old wounds, old doubts, but not to torment you, to surface the fragments that cannot travel into your breakthrough season. You're going to feel waves, moments of deep stillness followed by unexpected emotion. Don't fear that. Don't fight it. Let it move. Emotional release is spiritual cleansing, and the fact that it's happening now means your blessing is close enough to require purification. Chosen one, here is another essential practice. Speak differently. Your words must start matching the timeline you've just entered. Stop saying, one day things will get better. Start saying, things have already shifted in my favor. Stop saying, I hope something good happens. Start saying, my breakthrough season is active now. Heaven amplifies language. Every word you speak becomes spiritual architecture around your destiny. And this is where I need to pause, just briefly, to weave in the spiritual act that heaven requires in this hour. If this message is awakening something inside you, if it is confirming what your spirit has been sensing, then subscribe now. Not for content, not for ritual, but because chosen ones rarely recognize when they're entering a season that requires continuous prophetic alignment. This is one of the ways God keeps your spirit attentive in a season of acceleration. Now breathe, because we're going deeper. The next practice is one most people neglect. Document the shift. Write down what you felt today, the nudge, the decision, the moment things turned. Why? Because the enemy always tries to convince chosen ones that nothing supernatural happened, that they imagined the change, that they exaggerated the breakthrough. Your notes become evidence. They become stones of remembrance, just like Joshua set up by the Jordan. When doubt tries to creep in, your own handwriting will confront it. But listen, there's another layer, a layer tied directly to your next level. You must begin honoring your energy. Don't pour into everyone. Don't explain yourself to people who don't listen. Don't resurrect conversations that drain your spirit. The blessing God released today requires emotional conservation. You're stepping into a divine upgrade, and upgrades require fuel. Choose your yes carefully. Guard your no fiercely. Protect your peace like it's treasure, because it is. Chosen one, before we transition into the next half of this section, heaven is asking me to plant a seed in your spirit. There are 3 actions you must take immediately. Today, tonight, before the blessing arrives fully. And these 3 actions will determine the size, speed, and stability of what God is about to place in your hands. Chosen one, to fully step into the velocity of the blessing rushing toward you, you must understand the 3 sacred actions heaven is asking of you right now. These 3 actions are keys. These 3 actions are covenants. These 3 actions determine whether you merely see the blessing or truly receive it. The first action: release whatever is bleeding your energy, not through anger, not through final words, but through awareness. You already know what weighs your spirit down. A conversation you've replayed too many times, a hope you've held on to that's no longer being returned, a fear that keeps looping like a familiar whisper. Today, write down its name. Just write it. This simple act opens a gate. When you name the burden, you separate it from yourself. When you see it with your eyes instead of carrying it in your mind, you take your power back. And blessings cannot pour into hands still clinging to shadows. The second action: reorder the priorities of your soul. It sounds simple, but it is the measure of spiritual maturity. When heaven increases speed, anything that doesn't belong to you will start to tremble and fall away. You must decide what comes first: peace or pleasing others, truth or convenience, the inner calling or the outer noise. Choose wrongly for even one day, and you drag your blessing into a slow lane. But choose correctly, as you did today, and the spiritual universe shifts its winds to propel you forward. Chosen ones don't grow by luck. They grow by right priorities. The third action: speak aloud the thing you fear you do not deserve. Have you noticed? The desires you long for the most are the ones you speak the softest. Healthy love, financial stability, a life no longer centered around survival, clear purpose, a restored family. You want all of it. You've thought about all of it, but you rarely speak it. Heaven needs to hear your voice. Not to know what you want, they already know, but to witness that you've grown strong enough to stop shrinking yourself before your own dreams. When you say, "I am ready for abundance," or "I am worthy of restoration," or "I step into my purpose," the heavens shift. Your words become signals that dispatch angels onto your timeline. Now look at what's happening around you, that unusual stillness in your spirit. It's not emptiness. It's new space, fresh spiritual ground cleared for the blessing to take root. That heaviness softening inside you. It's not lost motivation. It's your inner world recalibrating, reorganizing its strength, resetting its center. When heaven accelerates, your soul must slow down to receive. That is normal. That is holy. But before you cross into the next part, the revelation explaining why you were accelerated at this exact moment, I must speak this plainly. You are being prepared for a level no one in your family has ever touched. You are the breaking point of your bloodline. You are the one ending an old cycle and beginning a new one. This is why you've always felt different. This is why you've never quite fit. This is why blessings come to you at unusual speeds, because you are not ordinary. You are the one shifting the direction of generations. And listen deeply. What you are receiving is not only the answer to your prayers, but the answer to the prayers of those who came before you, those who were never strong enough to reach it themselves. You are receiving on their behalf. You are breaking what bound them. You are living what they only dreamed of. And this is why the blessing must come fast. If it came slowly, the gravity of the past would try to pull you back. But when it comes quickly, you outrun the pull of old roots. Chosen one, heaven asks one more thing of you. Write this in the comments to seal the covenant. I step into my new reality right now. Not to support a video, but to activate the prophecy. It is your declaration, your agreement, your stepping into position. And if you have not subscribed, do it now. Not for the channel, but because you are in an acceleration zone, and souls in acceleration must never walk alone. You need reminders. You need prophetic alignment. You need a voice that keeps you steady while the sky changes above you. Now, slow your breathing, because the next part goes deeper into how you sustain this flow of blessing and what heaven is preparing to reveal. Chosen one, before we step into the prayer that will seal the acceleration unfolding around you, I need you to do one small but deeply important thing. Be still. Don't chase your thoughts. Don't try to understand. Don't try to calculate. Let your soul grow calm, like water before the wind begins to rise. Because the prayer we are about to enter is not an ordinary prayer. It is an activation, a marking of the new destiny heaven has placed into your hands. Chosen one, take a deep breath and hear this. You are no longer in your old timeline. You are standing at the doorway of the life I destined for you. That is not my voice. It is the whisper you've been hearing these past few days, but were afraid to believe. Now, let this prayer open that door completely. The prayer, don't read with your mouth, listen with your spirit. Heavenly Father, the one who has seen every tear fall into the pillow unseen by others, the one who has witnessed every silent worry this child has carried in their heart. We enter your presence in gratitude and trembling, because today, not only is blessing being released, but the soul of this chosen one is being repositioned. Lord, I ask that you breathe your breath over their mind. Silence every voice that has held them captive in fear. Wash away every memory that locked them inside doubt. Bring to light every old wound that has caused them to shrink from their blessing, and heal it. For you have spoken in Isaiah 54:17. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Right now, that promise is wrapping around their life like armor made of light. No plan against them holds power anymore. No shadow can cling to their steps. No word spoken against them can follow them into this season. Lord, open their eyes to what they cannot see. Angels standing around them, light resting upon them, protection behind them, and a path opening before them, even if the natural eye does not yet recognize it. And remind their soul of this truth. You are not stepping into the future alone. I am leading you. Chosen one, place your hand over your chest, gently, and feel your heartbeat. It is growing stronger, not because you are anxious, but because your soul is being tuned to match the flow of the blessing rushing toward you. When heaven increases speed, the human heart changes rhythm. Hear this as if God Himself is speaking directly to you. I saw you try to be strong when you had every right to collapse. I saw you give when you had nothing left. I saw you remain standing when everything around you shook. I saw it all, and I will reward you. Now, we go deeper into the prayer. The prayer, the inner part of the soul. Father, I ask you to lay your hand upon every place in their soul that has ever been fractured, where childhood memories birthed insecurity. Heal, where they stopped dreaming because they were mocked. Rekindle, where they trusted the wrong person and paid with their faith. Restore, where they were delayed, deceived, used, or silenced. Repay them many times over. Lord, pour new courage into their breath. Pour new peace into their mind. Pour new clarity into their eyes. Pour new steadiness into their steps. So they do not merely receive the blessing, they keep the blessing. Lord, break every old cycle they were trapped in. The cycle of worry, the cycle of lack, the cycle of self-doubt, the cycle of quitting halfway, the cycle of being used by others. Break it now, at the root. For today you have declared, the old season has ended, the new season has begun, and your word never returns void. Chosen one. I need you to do one more thing. Whisper this. I receive. You don't need to say it loudly. Heaven hears whispers, because this is not a magic phrase. It is agreement, and heaven only unlocks what you agree to step into. Chosen one. Now that your soul has been opened and your heart has been lowered into the frequency of heaven, we step into the deepest, most sacred part. The place where prayer doesn't just touch you, it restructures your future. Close your inner eyes, inhale peace, and let every word that follows become a stream of light, moving straight into places within you that you never knew needed healing. The prayer, the sealing of destiny. Father, creator of the stars, the one who placed the very first breath into the lungs of humanity, I ask you to draw near. Very near, near enough that the one hearing this can feel your hand resting gently upon their shoulder. Speak to them with the love only a Holy Father can speak with. You have endured enough. You have waited enough. You have learned enough. Now, you will enter. Lord, I ask that you cover them with grace to accept what they once feared they were unworthy of. Pour into them the courage not to run when the blessing finally comes close. Pour into them the wisdom to discern which door you opened and which door was built by temptation. And God, release them from generational burdens, the things that no longer belong to them. Release them from the voices that once suffocated their dreams. Release them from the distorted affections that chained their heart to lack. Release them from the belief that they must fight alone. Father, remind them you have never been alone, not for a single second. Chosen one, place your hand over your abdomen again. That is where the waters of birth of your soul reside. The place where creativity stirs, where understanding awakens, where the calling of destiny rises. Feel the warmth spreading. It is not imagination. It is God reigniting what He placed in you from the beginning. The prayer, protection for the new season. Lord, now I ask you to place a ring of holy fire around them. Not fire to burn them, but fire to burn away anything that intends to touch them wrongly. Protect them from doubt in their mind, temptation on their path, loss in their finances, sabotage against their dreams. People who have no right to enter the sacred places of their soul. Send the angel Michael to stand at the gates of their future. Send the angel Gabriel to stand at their ear to whisper direction. Send the angel Raphael to stand at their heart to heal every broken fragment. Lord, push them onto the right path, even when they feel unready, because you know they are ready long before they know it themselves. Chosen one, Now I must tell you what your soul has waited years to hear. There is nothing left on this earth strong enough to stop the blessing running toward you. No person, no circumstance, no memory, no fear, no delay, no force of darkness. You have outgrown that cycle. You have risen beyond the place that once confined you. You have upgraded, and heaven has witnessed your step. The prayer, the final seal. Father, now I ask you to place your divine seal upon this prophecy. Mark them with the oil of favor. Stamp them with the oil of wisdom. Cover them with the oil of protection. Expand them with the oil of increase. Let them begin to see the signs of their new season. Unexpected doors, unexpected calls, unexpected confirmations, unexpected provision, unexpected helpers, and peace that surpasses all understanding. Lord, let them know the best has not yet happened, but it is approaching with unstoppable velocity. Chosen one, before this prayer is sealed completely, I am led to ask you for one thing, a gesture of agreement with heaven. Write this in the comments to seal the prayer. I open my heart to the destiny God has written for me. This is your covenant signature. This is your confirmation. This is the final key that opens the door of blessing. And if you haven't subscribed, do it now. Not for algorithms, not for videos, but because this is the season where you must be nourished by consistent prophetic guidance. You are in a transition zone, and transition is never meant to be walked alone. Now, take a deep breath, hold it, and release. The prayer has been sealed. The blessing has been activated. The new season has begun. And you, chosen one, have stepped into a different reality.